Today is day one of tracking my progress to hitting 200% of my sales quota. It's kind of surreal saying that because 200% is way more than anything I've done in the past. I've hit 100% the last 2 years, over 100% the last 2 years, thank God, and very grateful for having that. But this year I kind of want to put something in front of me that kind of scares me a bit and pushes me to like really dig deep and really grow my sales skills. And honestly, what I'm really looking forward to is how am I going to grow as a person with this big goal in front of me. The reason I'm kind of doing this is a lot of things, honestly. Personal growth, a challenge for myself to hold me accountable, a reason to post more content. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, I'd say 10 plus years, but I haven't really gotten around to it. So I figured, why not give myself a challenge that's going to help me financially, that's going to help me personally, that's going to help me as a side business of creating content like this and creating my personal brand that kind of touches what I'm already doing day to day, which is sales and tech sales in particular, and just holding myself accountable to stretching myself. So I wrote some notes here that I wanted to share for myself, maybe my future self. If you do this, congratulations. I'm pretty proud of you if you have. But even if you don't make it, the work and like to getting to somewhere where you're not sure that you can do is important, because you may shoot for the stars and land on the moon, which is so helpful and inspiring, at least for yourself. So let me go through. So the goal this year is to hit 200% of my quota. This year I'm also getting married in July. I also want to save money for that wedding, so that's a big component of this. And I also want to eventually be able to purchase a home with my future wife, Kim, current fiance, and being able to just live where I grew up. I grew up in a rather affluent area in Southern California where a house that was worth $200,000 is now $2 million. And I want to live where I grew up and give that kind of lifestyle to my future kids, just to like pass that on. And I have to work for that. So I really want to document this journey and kind of like do something that's going to kind of cover a lot of buckets. I need money for my wedding. I need money for a down payment. I need, like I said, an opportunity to post more videos such as this. So that's what I want to do. And, potentially if I hit this quota, maybe I can be invited to P Club, which is President's Club for those who don't know, for the end of the year. Maybe get a nice trip out of it that I can take my fiance. So yeah, even just saying it now gets me a little nervous, because putting something in the sand that's kind of, in your eyes, further than you've ever gone, kind of like put some emotion in you, I don't know. At least that's how I'm feeling right now on day one. So I wrote some notes here of like, okay, well, what needs to change in order for me to hit 200% of my quota? Which is kind of the big question. And the notes that I wrote are, number one, my focus and consistency needs to be improved. And what do I mean by that? So I've been fortunate enough to hit over 100% the last 2 years. And what I have found is that my focus and output in the last few weeks of the quarter is 120%, 125%. I'm going to get these deals done, whatever it takes. I'm on the phone, I'm talking internally, I'm selling externally, and I'm selling internally to get these deals across the line, right? And I honestly kind of impressed myself with the amount of work I can do in those last couple of weeks, like a deadline. Like think in high school, you have a book report done, I'm going to write it the last week. I'm basically doing that a little bit in my career now. And while I've earned the results, I think that number one, it's kind of unsustainable. I do definitely need a break after those 2 weeks. But also, like, I don't feel like that format of work is sustainable, and also, more importantly, allowing me to reach my full potential. So instead of working 120% the last 2 weeks, can I work 90%, 80% every day throughout the year? And I think that's going to be the real big difference that I want to see in myself, is how can I move to a more consistent output how can I move honestly to a more consistent input in my day-to-day, right? Because output, or what you get, is a lag indicator. What we need to focus is on the lead indicators. What actions do I need to make? What activities do I need to accomplish? What customers do I need to get in front of? What, stuff like that. This isn't that call. I can talk about in another call, but I really want to focus on what I can control, which is my effort, my follow-up, my outreach, and just make that as consistent as possible and have some urgency in my day-to-day. If you're a seller, you understand how important urgency is, because time kills all deals. And yeah, so that's number one, focus and consistency. Number two is I need to elevate my salesmanship, right? So number one's kind of personal growth, focus and consistency. Number two is more salesmanship focused. I want to be able to sell higher in an organization at an executive level that really ties into business value. And as I do research and as I surround myself with sellers who are better than me, what I think I don't do that those people do is that they're selling to the executives on what the executives have as a personal interest. What do I mean by that? I work in B2B sales, typically within the enterprises, and the people who are making these decisions and purchase decisions for their company have, number one, business objectives, but they also have personal objectives. So if I can tie my product's value into the business objective of helping them reach those objectives, but also, and more importantly, the personal objective of the executive, I'm going to accelerate the deal velocity and size of my deal because the impact is going to be that much more. So I need to be able to understand myself, what are those value propositions, what are those tangible results my solution can provide the business, so that I can then communicate those to the customer. So I can then ask questions that lead the customer to be like, oh my gosh, yeah, this solution can help me with X, Y, Z. So I need to personally elevate myself in that sense to be less quote unquote transactional in my day-to-day business and more strategic. And I think a big thing that's limiting my ability to do that now is I'm not taking the time to really understand the value proposition of my product from the perspective of my successful customers. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're in tech sales, as I am, you get these enablement trainings from the organization. And if you're sales, you probably know this. It's fugazi. Like they're like, oh yeah, the customer, the product, blah blah blah. They're doing their job. I'm not saying anything against the enablement teams. They work so hard to give us the information we need. But sometimes the information you read out of a book of the value isn't the boots on the ground value your customers are really receiving. So what I need to do is I need to spend the time talking to successful customers, successful executives who have purchased our product to see what those value propositions have been and what the actual results of the purchase have been for themselves and their company. So I need to just spend more time with customers. Y Combinator talks about that a lot. Y Combinator says you need to be talking with customers, you need to be building the product, you need to be talking with customers. I need to do that in my sales role of really getting in, meeting with customers as consistently as I can, understanding what value they are seeing, why they want the solutions, so I can then communicate that to other prospective clients. And that is just so much work. That is so much work, and I'm just thinking about it now. And I think that's what this 200% is really going to kind of push me to do, is doing that extra work. Because I've been, to my own detriment or to my own success, however you want to see it, I have been putting in the work to get me to 100% the last 2 years. I'm going to need to do more work in order to hit that 200%. And I need to be okay with that sacrifice for myself, for my fiance, for my future self, because it is going to take more time to do it. And I am going to need to be more diligent in my day-to-day, more consistent and focused. So I think right now, as I'm thinking through that, those are the two things I want to focus on this year. Is I'm manifesting that I can do it. I think talking through it now with you guys, what I'm seeing that I need to do is I need to create a system for gathering information from customers, as well as a system that I can slide into focus. I can slide into my consistent outreach. I can slide into my day with having an action to-do list of my top 3 priorities. And that's what I need to shape for myself. So I'm very excited to be on this journey of 200%. I'm very excited to be creating this community of, people who want to better themselves professionally, personally. I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you guys, to just communicate this because you can fail. So hey, that's part of pushing yourself, is that chance of failure is there, but you don't learn unless you push yourself, and you don't grow unless you go to failure. So yeah. Anyway, this is Eric. This is my journey. Stick around. Talk to you later.